Frustration in Orinda, 2 weeks and radio silence from police after 5 people were killed at a house party. Family of one of the victims wondering why he hasn't even been contacted. KPIX 5 News at 5 begins right now with a killer still out there and a neighborhood full of questions. Good evening, I'm Alan Martin.
And I'm Veronica Dela Cruz. With all the witnesses at that party, we've heard nothing about potential suspects or leads. KPIX 5's Juliette Goodrich live in Orinda looking into where this investigation stands. Jules?
So the Orinda Police Department is referring all calls to the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department, who says they have no update at this time. If you imagine, though, to Orinda neighbors and even victims' family members, they're getting a little antsy and wondering why there is no update. Police never responded to neighbors' noise complaints the night of the shooting. Officers were assigned to other high-priority calls outside of Orinda.
They never showed up. Never.
This neighbor lives right next door to the rented party house and called police again when shots rang out.
It took some time to come over here, but that was too late.
Almost 2 weeks later, they ever come by to ask you questions about what you saw, who you saw, particular suspects?
No.
Are you surprised by that?
Yes.
This surveillance video we obtained from a neighbor shows 2 people holding guns. Even so, investigators aren't releasing any updates, and a shooter or shooters are still at large. We asked KPIX 5 security analyst Jeff Harp why so tight-lipped.
They're not going to tip their hand. They're not going to go out and give a big press release of who they're looking at, because until they've got that person in custody, until they've got eyes on that person, it's very easy for that person to slip through the cracks.
These guys came after me with a gun.
Lafayette Airbnb host Brittany McClevis says a month prior to the Orinda shooting, he had a rowdy group of renters throw a party.
This person rented it saying that they were having this reunion and ended up being out of control party.
He says he reported it to police and Airbnb when the renters got physical with him, and he called authorities again after the Orinda shooting.
And I just said, I'm going to talk to somebody, because nobody's called me back, and this happened 4 weeks ago with me, and nothing had happened from the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department.
Ramon Hill Sr.'s son was one of the victims at the Orinda house party. He's hired a lawyer. That lawyer telling me today the family has not been contacted, they have not been updated, and it's only adding to the grief they're experiencing after all of this. In Orinda, Juliette Goodrich, KPIX 5.
The owners of that home at 114 Lucille Way had a history of allowing Airbnb renters to throw big parties on the property. According to records obtained by the Mercury News, as recently as last February, Michael Wang and Wen Lin Lu were charging $800 for large parties, plus a $350 cleaning fee. At one point, they had posted on Airbnb that renters could throw parties at the house with as many as 30 guests.